in beautiful wine country of Sonoma County, and we're here at Home Ranch, one of the vineyards of Seghesio. And today we're going to be learning about how they make their wine.
Here in Sonoma County, we're blessed with wonderful convergence of great climate and wonderful soils.
The biggest thing that sets us apart from most other regions is in California, we'll have an early bud break. Our frost-free days are pretty significant. And then our prolonged hang time, or our prolonged growing season, really helps make really concentrated and beautiful wines. It takes 3 years to get a vine up the stake and laid down on the fruiting wire. You know, we start with bud break. We go into some shoot growth. At that point now our clusters are coming out. We'll go into bloom. And then once we get bloom and berry set, really the clock is kind of ticking. The time-tested dates are basically when we see 50% veraison. And veraison is the act of berry softening, the berries turning color. You know, we're 50 to 60 days out from harvest. As far as knowing when they're ready to go, I treat each particular block as its own, and it's 5-gallon samples, and off we go. It's quite literally as fast as I can go on a four-wheeler. And so then they work off of TA, pH, sugar, and ultimately we sit down every afternoon and we go, okay, this is what we can take in tomorrow, this is what we can take in the day after, and the day after that. And we just simply work through all of the particular blocks that we have. Till last year, we'd been exclusively hand harvest. We start at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we either go into half-ton macro bins or we go into 2.5-ton valley bins. Their equipment is a headlamp and a harvest knife and a picking tub. And they go as fast as they can. And every time they fill that 40-pound lug, they dump it into either the half-ton bin or into the valley bin, and then that goes into the winery.
Okay, so the grapes come to the winery. They've been sorted once in the field. If the grapes require it, we'll do another sorting. Then they go to the fermenter, and we have a number of different fermentation vessels. The ones right behind me are standard pump-over tanks. So they connect a hose to the bottom valve on the tank, and during fermentation, 3 things happen. After we've added the yeast to the grapes, the yeast converts the sugar to alcohol, and the process creates a lot of heat and carbon dioxide. And the carbon dioxide blows off naturally, but the heat accumulates, so that's why we have to artificially chill all of our fermenters to keep the temperature around 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So once the yeast starts to attack the must, fermentation has begun. And typically that'll take, it kind of depends on the ripeness of your fruit. The riper the fruit, the longer it takes. But typically it's about a 10-day process where all the sugar is converted to alcohol via the yeast. And once the wine is completed fermentation in the tank, conveniently, that CO2 that has been created during fermentation pushes all the skins to the surface and essentially divides the juice or the newly made wine and the skins. So we essentially open the bottom valve in the same tank, and that goes into a saline tank overnight, another stainless tank looking just like this. And we let the heavy solids settle out for about 24 hours, and it goes straight to a barrel. And each wine that we make has a specific barrel dedicated to that wine per the style we're trying to achieve. Typically it's 11 months to 2.5 years. Now, once we've determined that the wine is ready to be bottled, we'll take it out of the barrels. And we sample the wines all the time, right up to the day of bottling. Make sure the blend is right. And maybe we like to make the blend maybe a month before it goes in the bottle so the components can kind of come together. And then we put it in the bottle, and if bottling goes well, it's a non-event. Winemakers come in all different forms, and that's part of the beauty of this business is we all have a different expression, and we're all trying to achieve the same results. You know, make a wine that is memorable and has site-specific qualities, so that you can look at the glass, sip the wine, and maybe think back at the vineyard and get kind of a sense of place of where these wines come from.